Good morning from Panhandle Outdoors with Winston Chester. Panhandle Outdoors, your source for fishing, hunting, and information for folks who enjoy the great outdoors. Now sit back, relax. It's Panhandle Outdoors.
Good morning, folks. Welcome to Panhandle Outdoors. I'm Winston Chester. I'm glad you're here this morning. We've got a great show lined up. We'll get started with our weather brought to us by Haney Technical Center at 77 and Baldwin Road. Run by and see them. I was talking to a guy yesterday. He built him a tower on his boat. He had trouble welding it. He said this summer he's thinking about going to Haney and take that welding class. I told him it's a great idea, and because you can get a lot done out there. Okay, now today's going to be 72 high and a low of 61, about a 70% chance of rain. So it's really going to be may not be a good day to go out too far in the water. The water temperature is staying up now at 64, so it's pretty steady at 64. The river readings, take a look at the Apalachicola Bluntstown, is dropping on down. It's going to level off today now at 12 foot, and it looks like it's going to stay at 12 foot now for the next 2 or 3 days. So the river's going to be pretty level over there if you want to take a chance on it. The Choctawhatchee is dropping off a little last night, but now it's going to be level today too. So we're not going to have much flow on either river. The Choctawhatchee is reading 7.2, and the Apalachicola is right at 12.1. Our low tide is at 2 o'clock this morning, and high tide is at 3:52, and we're working on a new tide chart. We'll get to you really soon on that. Now, the marine forecast is going to be blowing east-northeast at 10 to 15. Won't be a good day to get out. So just keep your eyes to the skies. If you're going offshore, just don't go off too far. All right? Now, every Wednesday morning, I'd like to call Captain Blair Morgan with a blue water outrigger report for the east end of our viewing area. Blair's on top of everything down there. I'd like to thank George Duran and the staff at Blue Water Outriggers. Those folks, they're having a big tent sale now, not this weekend, but next weekend. It's going to be a big one. I was down there the other day, and they were really getting a lot of stuff out. Good morning, Blair.
Good morning, Winston. How are you?
I'm doing well, buddy. What are you up to?
Oh, just trying to do a little fishing. I tell you what, March, it seemed like every day the wind was blowing and it was raining.
Yeah.
Last few days around here has been pretty nice, but I think we got a little bit more weather coming in, but at least it's warming up some.
Yes.
But fishing-wise, the Spanish have come in here, but they're like 2 miles offshore right now. They haven't really started running the beaches yet. But I had a friend of mine went offshore the other day, and he said off about 2 miles there was just schools of them everywhere. So, just any day the way the weather is, they'll probably show up. And there were some folks here last week from up north fishing for sharks off the stump hole, and they were fishing at night, but they were fishing off the shore, and they was taking the baits out in the kayak, off about 200 or 300 yards, and dropping them down. They caught 3 sharks out there around 11 feet apiece, right there on the beach.
Well, Blair, you told me that story, and I went down when we got to the Cape. I went down to the Cape Trading Post, and those folks were so nice. And they had a picture on the computer, and they sent me one of these pictures. We're going to go ahead and put it on the screen because a lot of times people just don't realize. They got 3 pictures now. They brought it to shore. And of course, they're fishing at night. You can see the mouth right there, right? Yeah, Rick Corlett almost fit inside that one right there. Okay, now look at here's a little close-up shot right here. That's a big shark, but now, when you say 11 foot, now these boys measured this shark, okay? They measured it out, and there's a good picture right there. That's a broadside picture. All right, good.
The interesting thing is, all the 3 different they were 3 different species. They had a mako that was 10 foot 8 inches long. They had a tiger shark that was 11 foot 6 inches, and a lemon shark that was 11 foot.
Oh my goodness!
Yeah,
that's amazing.
Yeah, but it's big sharks over here.
Now you said I caught them around the stump hole.
Yeah, right there at the stump hole.
Wow. That hole is getting deeper and deeper out there now. I noticed it the other day. The erosion and making that hole deeper, so those sharks getting right there close to shore.
Yeah. And other than that, the canal over here at St. Joe, it's full of fish right now. You can go over there and catch reds, trout, sheephead, drum, just whatever it's a lot of fish going on. But the weather settles down, the fish really start going to bite.
Okay, and anything on the river?
Haven't heard. Actually, the river's still real high, and people been running bush hooks for catfish, and they're not doing real well right now. But I did hear that Lake Wimico was really on fire for bass. They're catching a lot of bass in Wimico right now.
All right. Well, that sounds good, Blair.
All right.
I appreciate it, buddy.
Yes, sir. Talk to you next week.
See you later, man. All right, it's Captain Blair Morgan with Blue Water Outrigger Report. All right, let's take our break and we'll be right back. All right, welcome back, folks. Glad you're with us this morning. I want to welcome Captain Rick Corley.
Good morning.
Our boat expert here on Panhandle Outdoors. And we were talking last night, Rick, and I was trying to talk about some things we're going to talk about. And the first thing we talk about this time of year, I got tickled at it because I had somebody had trouble the other day. The electrical system on the boat.
You've got usually at least 2 on most boats of any size. Now on your small boats, your outboards and all, you really got 1, 12 volt. But when you get into a little bit larger boat, usually around 26 feet and up, you're going to have at least 2 systems. You'll have 12 volt DC, direct current, and you'll also have 120 volt AC. And one of the problems that you see quite often that happens is maybe the guy has his boat here, but he's from up in Tennessee or Alabama or somewhere north, and he's maybe got a construction company or something, and he's got a house electrician that works for him. Well, he thinks, it's electricity, he can wire it. And so they come down here and he's wanting an extra bilge pump put in, for example. Well, when he puts it in, he's interested in one thing, opening and closing the circuit. He doesn't realize that on a boat you have what is called a bond system, which is all of your green wires running to all the negative ground on anything below the water that is a metal fitting, like through holes and your strut and your trim tabs and things of that nature. Well, by having that in continuity where they're all connected to each other, your anodic protection, your zinc anodes get eaten away rather than the metal parts that you want to save. That's the reason they call them sacrificial anodes. Well, if he comes down and he wires in a bilge pump, for example, and he puts the float switch on the negative lead, well, the only time you got corrosion protection on that boat is when the pump's running. When it cuts off, you break the continuity of that whole system. Now you got corrosion going on, but everybody right around you has too. You're not going to be very popular if they find that out. But these are some of the things that you can have happen when you don't have a qualified ABYC, which is American Boat and Yacht Council, certified electrician, marine electrician. Boats are different. The wires are all stranded. They're pre-tinned to prevent corrosion, things of that nature. And they're color-coded for certain reasons so that you can identify the wires and all. Well, you see people come in and they'll use lamp cord, extension cord, Romex, all kind of gosh-awful stuff on some of these boats when they think they know what they're doing. And especially wire nuts. Wire nuts will absolutely eventually cause a fire on a boat. They're not to be used.
So no wire nuts?
No wire nuts, absolutely not, because what happens is that spring in there will corrode out. You're in a salt atmosphere.
Yeah, even if you put some kind of stuff on it still.
Eventually it will break down, and when it does, it'll get hot, and then you get a fire, and a fiberglass boat will burn all the way to the waterline. Yeah. So don't use them. They're not any good on a boat. And if you're going to wire, there's 3 books that I brought. There's one called the 12-Volt Bible.
12-Volt Bible.
That's a good one. And then this one is the,
Right there.
That's one. And this is the other one.
The 12-Volt Bible. Now, this is a, if you're going to do it yourself and all this.
Right. Well, and even if you got somebody else doing it, you can look and see if they did it the right way if you want to know. Another one is, of course, the Boat Electrical System is a good book.
That's a thick book there.
Yes, it is. This is one of
That's good right there. The Conrad Miller manual. Okay.
Yep. And then Charlie Wing, which I really like, is another one, and that's your electrical guide to your boat. Boat Owner's Illustrated Handbook of Wiring.
Okay.
Those will pretty much give you an idea. And if you are an electrician, if you use those and follow their guidelines, you're probably going to be all right. But just because you're a house electrician don't mean you know anything about a boat, because they are different.
And that's something you just don't want to fool around with.
No, because here's the other thing. When I go in a shipyard, for example, before I'll grab anything like a propeller, I look to see if that boat's hooked up to shore power. Because there have been surveyors get electrocuted because it's hooked up to shore power, and you reach up and grab that propeller, and if they got a short somewhere in there, and that's the ground, you just grounded it back. You gave it the path back to ground, and that electrocutes you right there. I mean, you know.
That'd be a shocking experience.
Absolutely, so right. I don't do that.
Let's take this break, and we'll be right back. All right, welcome back. See here with Captain Rick Corley. You got a busy schedule today, don't you?
Oh, yes.
You got to go all over. But let's catch up on some of our pictures. Y'all been really good about sending in pictures, and it's been a little slow, but some folks are still finding some fish. It's sent to us by one of the former students, Mark Grant, and his dad went out. That is some nice Spanish bluefish and a big old speck on the end there, but that's a good job, Mark. All right, this next picture, someone sent this to me. I thought this makes good. The solution to any problem is to go fishing. And the worse the problem, the longer the trip should be. I like that. Yeah. All right. Down in St. Andrews, Captain John Cosper. We had John when he was in Little League Baseball. He's a good fisherman. John, folks, I want to tell y'all something now. The sheephead are on fire. I mean, that's the hottest fish right now, the sheephead. All right, as I was saying, here, it's Brandon Boyd. Now, this is a nice sheephead. You see where... If you catch the weather right and get out by the rocks, everybody's congregated out there to catch these sheephead. Best bait now is going to be a live shrimp, if you can. A good live shrimp, and get up close to the rocks, and they're a great pull. Okay. Here is Brandon Major. Last weekend got a nice turkey on his birthday. Brandon Major, nice young man. A good hunter, too.
Yeah, my partner went up to Georgia. He got 2 toms the other day.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Good deal. Here's another sheephead, and this was a big one right here. Good job there, sheephead right there. And here's Emily McCormick catching her first bass of the season up there. I think she'd probably be in her, looks like her granddaddy's pond up there. Pretty smile, Emily. Now, check this out. This is a boat for sale. Now, Rick, I want you to help me on this. Now, this is a Crosby. We got this sent to us. Now, listen, I'm going to read you the price on this first. Well, let me tell you about the boat. This is a 14-foot Crosby. Y'all know about the Crosby Sea Sled. They were in business a long time. This has also the trailer and the title, which is good. It's a good little fishing boat. We restored the bottom. This has new paint on the bottom, and he's asking $250. That, I can promise you, that boat will sell today from Panhandle Outdoors. This guy's name, his dad watches the show. Let me read the rest of the email. My dad watches your show every morning, and he told me that to send this to you. My name is Terry, and my number is, are y'all ready for the number? Because I know you want to write it down. 532-3085. I'm going to show you another picture of the boat. Here's the other side of the boat right there. Folks, I don't know if he didn't leave out another zero, but he don't have a motor, so it's $250, okay? And the number again is 532-3085. Now, Rick, you know about these Crosby boats. They were well-made boats.
Yeah, they were kind of a knockoff of the whaler.
Exactly. That's why they were. And his name's Terry. They said call after, he works till 5, but you won't want to call and leave a message. But that's really good, Terry. That's
one suggestion if they bite.
Okay.
Be sure that you know what horsepower you can put on your boat, because that's something that some people do is they overpower the boat. Say like the old 13 whaler was limited to 40 horsepower. Well, if you put a 45 horsepower motor on it, you can't. You can pay for the insurance, but when it comes time, if you had a claim, they'll just give you your premiums back and say bye, because you overpower the boat. It's not insured.
Good point there. Yeah. Now, $250. Now that, folks. If my wife wasn't watching the show now, I'd probably go ahead and call and buy that boat. But I got too many boats at home. But $250, you go to the movies about 2 times, buy some popcorn. That's $250 right there. So that's a good buy. I mean, it really is. If you want, we love selling people boats, and we'll do it free. And it just helps. It makes 2 people happy: the people selling it and the people buying it. So we're all for that.
And if it's a big boat, call me.
It was a big boat called Rick. Yeah. But there are bargains out there in boats. I see them. I read the ads a lot and go through it. There are a lot of bargains now in boats. I know you see it too on a daily basis.
Yes, I do.
On different size boats.
I did a 52 Cabo about 9 months ago, and that boat was $1.6 million new. 3 years old, it sold for $800,000. It should have been about $1,380,000, something like that. But it's a buyer's market right now. If you're looking for a boat and you got a little money and you can afford it, it's a great time to buy a boat. Yeah. But have it surveyed before you buy it.
You know, on the smaller boats, but a lot of folks would buy boats back in the day, and they would just leave the boats at a boat landing, you know, and just go down there and get it. Or they don't do. I guess it's a little too sophisticated now, but people don't do that much anymore. But back in the day, they would leave, especially old wooden boats, just leave it down there landing.
They weren't going. There wasn't anybody going to steal it. Now we have and we're lucky up on this end. It's not too bad, but South Florida, 15,000 boats a year stolen.
Really?
Yeah, Florida has the highest boat theft in any state, and most of it's in South Florida.
Are they taking them out of the water or from on a trailer?
They take them either on a trailer, or sometimes they'll take them and go somewhere else and put them on a trailer. But then they'll go. The bad part is Alabama is a non-title state.
Oh, really?
And so they run to Alabama, and then they can sell them up there because how are you going to track it? You don't have a title.
I see.
That's just one of the tricks they use.
That's something you'll make sure you got a clear title when you get a boat.
Absolutely.
That's a big deal.
You get a title search done on it. Yep.
All right, let's take our final break and we'll be right back. All right, welcome back for the final segment of Panhandle Outdoors. We're glad you're here this morning. Let's take a look at our fish report on what the best times to catch a fish, brought to us by Mark Cowart. Okay, take a look at this. The best time to go fishing today will be 7:11 to 9:11 this morning. A good time right there if it's not raining. And then tonight, 7:38 to 9:38 if the rain breaks loose. That's brought to us by Mark Cowart of Edgewater Beach Realty. From Carabel to Destin, he's got your number right there. So give Mark a call. Good supporter of Panhandle Outdoors. A couple of things I was going to mention. I was reading last night, FWC report. They're saying anywhere in Florida, you're within 45 minutes of fishing. Anywhere. If you're in the middle of the state, you're still within 45 minutes of fishing.
You got lakes everywhere.
That's why we got lakes, ponds, and then we take it for granted because we live right here on the coast, but everybody in Florida can go within 45 minutes and go fishing. So that's a great feeling right there. That's why we're the fishing capital of the world. Yep. Now, don't forget, Grouper's open in Franklin County. It opened today. It opened yesterday. It opened, Monday. So April 1st, April, May, and June. If you want to go fishing for Grouper down there. Now, listen. Coming up, I was telling you, we've got a big boat race for fundraising for the American Cancer Society out at Carl Gray Park. Now, I believe it's next weekend. We'll get a date with you tomorrow. But while I have you on air, I was thinking about this the other day. People can build their own cardboard boats with duct taping all up. I know, so I want you to give. I know some folks out there that are going to build some boats. So, and in fact, if I can get together, my granddaughters want to do it. So, what are some pointers we can take if we want it to float first of all? So we wanted to float.
When you put it together out of cardboard, one thing you got to do with the duct tape is make sure you seal all your seams. And of course, you want
seams. Number one, the seams.
The seams, and then of course you got to have that pointy front end, or you're not going to make much speed. Right, and I got a feeling if it's out of cardboard, you want to make a little bit of speed when you get it in, because it ain't going to be long. It's kind of like a tomato sandwich. You got to lift and eat fast, or it'll fall through. But it sounds like a lot of fun.
All right, now would you make it like, say, 6 feet long or 8 foot long, or?
Well,
you're gonna have to sit in it.
And you got to look at your length to beam ratio should be about 30% of the length. But I'll tell you what we used to do when I was a kid. We'd catch these when a storm would come through. You remember the little bus stops that had the little tin sides on them? Mm-hmm. Well, it was a 4x8 sheet of tin, and what we'd do is, if that got blown off, we'd go out there and find it in the woods, come back, cut a 2x4, 2 foot long, and stand it on the end in the middle of one end and bend it up and tack it. And then we'd go back and we'd take a 2x12 and cut the curves to make the stern in it, and roll it up, and then put 1x1 batting around it and a 2x2 spreader. And make a tin boat, pour it full of tar at the seams to seal it up, And we paddle all over the lagoon and the bay.
And that will last a while too.
It was like a kayak, yeah. It'll last a while.
Yeah, well,
but
we'll get
but on cardboard, you're going to have to find a box big enough, whatever the length of it is, and then figure out how to cut it.
So the beam's 30% of the length.
Yeah,
what you're saying?
yeah, about a third.
Okay,
yeah, 30% to a third.
That's a good
and
point
then it'll be stable. You could probably, if you're pretty good, like a canoer, or you know how to kayak, you could probably get away with 24%, 25%. In other words, a fourth. A fourth as wide as it is long. But you get much nearer than that, and you can't. It's not going to be stable enough it'll turn over.
Okay. And the duct tape. Now you crisscross your duct tape. You want to keep it all going one direction.
Well, it'd start out going one direction, and then I would reinforce it, crisscross. Yeah, because if you don't, you're talking about putting weight in there, and you got to support your own weight. They better be glad I'm not getting in it. But anyway,
it's going to have two age groups: 12 to 18 will be the young group, and then 19 and older. So there'll be two groups going. So I'm looking for. We're going to try to cover.
If you ever watch that show on it, what is it? Mythbusters. They built a boat out of duct tape.
They did.
Yeah, and it floated.
It floated.
It worked. Yeah.
Okay.
Built a sailboat out of duct
boats
tape.
are fascinating. We're just talking about that boat we just had on before the break, for sale for $250. And you said basically summed it up. You said you're really buying a trailer for $250, getting a boat.
Boat free. Yeah.
Because that's a good deal there. All right, we got about a minute or two left now. You've been really busy, right? So what have you been working on?
Well, I've got. Unfortunately, I've got an accident happen over at Destin, and I'm working that one. And then I've got an appraisal to do over there on a big hatteras, and I've got the next day I got a survey out at Lighthouse on a big hatteras, and I got a 19-footer Key West to do, and then I got a cargo ship coming into port Thursday. It'll take my time for about 3 days. We'll be unloading steel out there, so I'm gonna be busy.
A lot of steel unloaded about 3 days.
Yeah, Berg Pipe orders a lot of what they call high quality German steel, and it comes from it's made in Germany, but it's shipped out of Dunkirk, France, and shipped over here. And then we have to see it unload and make sure it got no salt water on it and that type thing. And of course, we have some good stevedores because very rarely do we ever have any damage from unloading, but we have to look at that.
All right, you're staying busy, folks. I know you're busy too, but sometime today, do something good for somebody. Have a great day, and God bless.
Thanks for joining us for Panhandle Outdoors with Winston Chester. Panhandle Outdoors features hunting, fishing, and other activities and information to help you enjoy the great outdoors. Join us next time for Panhandle Outdoors.